Right here, look.
Yeah, but Mike.
I figured if I come in, you would.
The following?
No, you were quicker. Thursday,
Thursday. Run in church.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's start off the second half of the meeting with the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. All right, and it's my pleasure to introduce our main speaker tonight. Willie, come on up. Willie, David is there. David in the red is he'll give you a 5 and a 2 minute warning.
Okay.
40.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Off and running.
Hi, my name is Willie. I'm an alcoholic. My sobriety date is June 6, 2019. I have 6 years, 10 months, and 1 day.
That's right.
I'd like to thank Nancy for allowing me to come out here and share my experience, strength, and hope with you guys. And let's get to it. Let me see. How I'm gonna do this. There's a reconditioning process that I had to go through. When I learned all this information about the work, man, and I had to realize that like this alcohol wouldn't have worked for me if I hadn't already went through some stuff. I would have never had an obsession for ease and comfort if I hadn't already went through something. Alcohol would have never gave me that aha feeling. I had to go back into work when I worked with my sponsor. And my sponsor had told me to go back to, another person had told me to go back to the very first time I got angry. I took that to my sponsor. My sponsor pointed it out when I wrote it down. He said the very first time you got angry was in elementary school. And I broke the story down. The story was, there was a lot of things going on in my life. I grew up in Compton. I went to George Washington Elementary School. At that time, I had a friend, his name was Lapito. He lived next door to me. He got killed. He was maybe like 6, 7. I remember my auntie had killed her husband, my uncle. Shot him. To me, he flew like 100 feet, but he only flew like 15 feet. She hit him with one of them shotguns and blew him up. I remember that happened. I remember I went to church and Sister Cherokee, a lady named Sister Cherokee, passed away. And when I went to church, Sister Cherokee was one of those big ladies who loved all the kids. She just spent all the time with the children. She was always there, big smile. And I remember all the things that happened. I remember her always arguing with her husband. I remember her husband getting married right after she passed and getting married in the same church. I remember like a month or so later, I remember all kinds of stuff happening in church because my mama took us to a lot of different churches. We did everything. We did shut-ins, we did revivals, we did choir rehearsal, we did everything. We visiting churches. But let me give you a picture of what I looked like. In elementary school, I wore a 44-32. In middle school, I wore a grown man size. I was one of those. I was like, my family was the Clumps family. If y'all ever seen that movie with Eddie Murphy, we was the Clumps, you know what I'm saying? Hercules. I was a big kid, I was swole, you know what I'm saying? But I cracked jokes, you know what I'm saying? I had jokes. I was a big kid with jokes, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have the flyers clothes, but I had jokes, you know what I'm saying? So I remember all these things was taking place, and in elementary school, this one particular day, my mom was like, go to school. I walk to school, I get to school, and it's like recess or something, and they cracking jokes, I'm cracking jokes, and in my head, before I broke this down, man, that whole scene was, everybody in that scene had already been turned into a monster by the time I got to this work. From this moment that I'm about to tell you about, everybody who did something to me or happened to me was a monster. They was the worst thing in the world. They were ultimately catastrophized into the most biggest villain in every situation in my life. No matter who did what, when, what happened, how things happened, they was the worst person in the world. I ain't want nothing to do with them. But in this particular situation, they cracking jokes, man. I'm cracking jokes, and somebody say something about my shoes. I look down, time slowed down. I remember it specifically. Time slowed down. My chest is beating. They say something about my shoes. I look down and I see my pro wings. I got the pro wings with the little dots on the toe. You know, the big on the side pro wing with the big wing. I don't know if you ever seen them. I had pro wings and I liked them, you know what I'm saying? Because I got them new and I was proud of them, but something was on them. They was clowning. And said something about my pants, and then it was a good joke. And I'm like, and it's hurting. I can't get nothing to come out. I'm like, and then I react in anger. My brain showed me a picture of me throwing a punch and me winning, like ha ha ha, because I was already angry and hurt and going through some things, but I throw the punch. I miss. I'm already out of win because I'm a fat kid, right? I throw the punch, poof. I get whooped. I get whooped. I had to go to the principal's office. Back then, I went to George Washington Elementary School. My dad and my uncles had the same principal. The principal whooped me. She had a little gold ruler. I remember her. She whooped me good. They called home, couldn't get nobody to come get me. So my uncle's girlfriend, my uncle's third wife at the time, came to come get me. I don't know if I'll get to my uncle, but my uncle had maybe like 10 wives. He's been married about 10 to 12 times, but this is like his third wife at the time. So she come get me. She talking to me, talking crazy to me, whatever, slapping me upside the head. She get me to the house. She whoop me. My uncle see her whooping me. He come in, whoop her, beat her up, bad, terrible situation. And I ended up running across the street because we lived right across the street from my grandmother's house. My mother come home, she whooped me. Now, from this point on, I don't want to go to school no more. I don't want to go to church no more. I remember from this activating moment, when I used to look back in the past, I used to always see my mama as a villain. She was always whooping ass at a high, excuse my language, whooping my butt at a high-tech level. I could always see her whooping me for every single thing in the world. I just remember nothing but the butt whoopings because I could never look back at the past and see the part that I played. I could never see the fact that I fell off track at that moment, didn't want to go to church. I didn't want to go to school. I was still. I never saw all of the things that was happening to me because I was reacting from that situation. Nobody gave me a hug when Lapito died. Nobody gave me a hug when my uncle died because I like my uncle. Nobody gave me a hug or talked to the kids when Sister Cherokee passed. Nobody told me I should understand the fact that her husband, who all I did was witness him talk bad to her, decided to move on quickly or already had enough human things. I never could explain them. But from a kid, I soaked these things up. From a kid, I had an idea how God worked, and I didn't like it. I grew up in the church, speaking in tongues, jumping up and down, laying hands, the whole thing. I done seen fights break out in church. I done seen the drummer jump over and hit the organist. I done seen everything. Get off my husband. You ain't talking to God? I done seen all in many churches. I done seen it, so I had an idea of how, and I didn't like it. That was my experience. So the fast forward into the future, man, I'm telling you this like because if nothing was going on with me on my shoulders when I first took a drink of alcohol, man, when I got that relief, it'd have never worked for me. I was already going through some things. Things was already heavy on me when I found alcohol. When I took that first drink of alcohol, it was like a relief, a lift off my, even though I was drinking Southern Comfort. You know, it's a whole nother story. I can't really go into this story, but it's a long story. So I drank some Southern Comfort, man, and it's disgusting too. I never found another reason in my entire drinking career to drink Southern Comfort again. I can still almost taste it. It tastes like syrup. It's horrible. But I remember drinking the entire bottle. We're sitting there drinking, and I feel sick. I throw up when I get up, and I wanted to do it again because it made me feel something. It made me feel other than how I felt. I felt a relief. I felt peace. I felt I could communicate. I could talk. I felt comfortable. It was nighttime. It was dark. I fell in love with the nighttime, the people, the energy of it. I liked it. So my life continued on from there, needing more alcohol to continue on. But I felt alcohol was going to be my key to be able to be somebody, be able to talk. I figured I could drink a little bit and hold it on. Now, there's all kinds of other stuff in my story that got to do with everything. But from that moment on, I needed more of it. I needed it. But I didn't want nobody to know because I grew up with a family, you know what I'm saying? My dad was big on conversation, but he never said anything that didn't make any sense. My pops would always tell you something that worked. My pops was a really artistic person. He did a lot of stuff in the community, and he never cursed, he never drank. He'd always say stuff like, real men don't use alcohol and don't drink. Boy, if you had a brain, you'd be dangerous. Boy, you ain't gonna be nothing but a two-bit thug. He'd say some things and it would hurt because he never cursed it. He had a great control of the English language. You could tell when he was upset by the words he used. He never really, my pops wasn't really a good whooping butt type person, you know what I'm saying? He'd give you a couple pops and that was it. But for what I didn't understand is my mom and my dad had an idea. The idea was that she would never whoop us, but when he wasn't there, she was whooping the life out of us. You know what I'm saying? Because we were getting big, and she didn't know any other way except spare the rod, spoil the child. And I have a different understanding of that now, but that's what I used to hear, that in that Bob Marley record playing. You know what I'm saying? She turned it up loud, she get to tearing some butt. It didn't matter what it was. And because of that, by the time I got away from home, my mom was a monster in my mind. But because of that single situation and me working with my sponsor, I realized that I couldn't trust people. Because of that, I realized how long I spent not having friends and being able to go to families' houses because I didn't feel I could connect. Because if you talk crazy about me, I might react in anger, it's gonna go bad. I was always still conditioned not to be around people or let people get close to me. So I had a real lonely life. I do all the things I'm supposed to do. Be there, be super friendly, but as soon as I'm gone, I'm not coming back. I'll be on the block, man. Hey, man, where you been at? I've been, doing me. You been in prison? Yeah, I've been in prison. Yeah, for sure. Pop up, go back to jail. Come back out, go back to jail, come back out. Spin the story up quicker to make it go by faster because I know I don't have a lot of time because I want to get into this work. But yeah, I remember a point in time where me coming out of jail or coming out of prison was like a dream because I knew as soon as the police seen me, I'm going back to jail because I was either extremely loaded every single time. I never understood what went on with me. As soon as I get out of jail, my brain would start working, telling me where to spend the money at. They give me the parole ducket. I'm hoping them people from friends outside to send me my clothes, so I ain't got to spend none of that $200. I'd get that. I go get a high expensive. I don't like spending a lot of money, but the Heineken was expensive on the train. I don't know if y'all ever bought a Heineken on the train. It's kind of expensive. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to spend that much money, but I spend it anyway. And that would start me off. I didn't realize that I was dealing with something beyond my control. I didn't know that I dealt with an obsession, that I had an allergy, that I had a spiritual malady, and that the obsession will hit me with no thought at all, a peculiar mental twist, or strange mental blank spots, that I would forget every single time that I landed in jail loaded. I never realized that. Once I did all this work and I got through this process and I worked with a sponsor, I realized that every single time the police saved me from killing myself. Thank God they didn't kill me, because I probably was the easiest person to cuff too, because I'm not really gonna run too far. You know what I'm saying? They cuff me, I'm already tired and beat. Just put these cuffs on, Willie. Okay, boom. As soon as they cuff me, I'm in the car, I go to sleep, I'm passed out. It felt like a relief every single time, if I'm gonna be honest with you. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna tell you, I do really well when I go to jail when I don't have a solution. When I get in jail, when other people's applied rules make me do real good. See, I was always searching to try to find something to be a part of, but I could never really stick to it because it involved people. I could never really be what I wanted to be because it involved people, and you might get close, say something, it's gonna go wrong. You might hurt my feelings. I don't like that. My feelings was hurt before, and I was really, really not gonna let you hurt my feelings again. So I'm not gonna get close to you. I remember getting out of jail one time. I had a little brother, right? I had a little brother. And when I got out of prison this one time, he was talking. He had a conversation. He could talk. I remember my entire childhood, he never talked. He never spoke. I don't know why, he just never spoke. But when I got out of jail this one time, he had a whole conversation. He could talk. He had a whole different life than me. He didn't went to these beautiful placement camps where they had horses and all these different things, and I had a resentment like, dang, I had to go to jail. I was in there fighting with my left hand. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, I had to learn how to squabble. And you was riding horses and, in Colorado living, I didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? For some reason, I built a resentment for that. I know that now, but I didn't know that then. I'm just looking at his face like, man, you can talk, you tall, I'm short. Man, you went to Colorado? Like, Pops paid for it? He wouldn't even come see me. Well, he couldn't come see me. I never really realized that until how much effort it takes to actually get inside the county jail. I never realized how much effort it takes for visitation and how much walking you got to do. My pops was always 700 something pounds. He wasn't always physically capable to do it, to get there, He did it one time, and after that, I'm like, man, he can't come back. You know what I'm saying? He sent packages and stuff like that, but never actually any more than that. Because nobody was coming all the way to the places they were sending me. I never knew what it took to be a parent. I took all that stuff for granted. Like, I'm supposed to get everything in the world, but you don't know how to. I wanted everything in the world, but really I wanted a hug, but I didn't know that until I did this work. I didn't realize that I was hurt for a long period of time. So let me move this all the way forward, because I'm gonna talk about this sappy stuff forever. You know what I'm saying? And once I started doing the work with my sponsor helped me break this thing down, right? And man, that was a lot of emotional stuff. I don't really speak about that stuff. It kind of threw me off a little bit. I miss my brother and my dad, man. I had to get through this process with my sponsor because of all the resentments, and I had to forgive myself for all the things I held against them because it wasn't their fault. They did the best they possibly could with what they can. I decided to make the decisions. I didn't know I was dealing with something beyond my control. I didn't know the fact that I wasn't doing my part. I wasn't being Willie. I didn't even like my name Willie. Like growing up, I didn't like being called Willie. You couldn't call me Willie. I'm like, call my dad Willie. My granddad's Willie. Why I gotta be Willie? You know what I'm saying? I couldn't get a better name. His name Martin. You know what I'm saying? His name Martin. You know? His name Sriraj. He got an African name. I gotta be Willie. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like it. But just to think about it, like all these different things came up because over the years, I've been back to my sponsor and put more stuff on the paper. You know, I put more stuff in my 4-step and I processed it through. I didn't like the name Willie because then somebody told me out of nowhere, like, yo, we like y'all a nickname for a first name. Your name Willie. It's not William. Like, no, it's not William. It's Willie. Like, man, you got a nickname for a first name, man. Your name cool. You know, everybody like Willie. Willie can fix anything. I was like, yeah, I can fix some stuff. You can always trust Willie. I was like, yeah, you can trust Willie. Yeah, people can trust me. I'm a trustworthy person. You know, stuff like that. And then I got to learning to love my name. But that was in recovery. I learned a lot of different things in recovery. By the time I got to treatment, I didn't know how to live on the street. I could live well in prison. I can do book work and I can exercise. I know how to hustle, fix J-Wins, make tattoo motors with the little plug-in motor. I had the good tattoo guns. You could put the headphone jack in it. You know what I'm saying? I had the good ones. And that's because I worked in computer repair, and it's like 6 motors inside of a CD-ROM drive. I take them all apart and have all these different little motors and do my thing. And I was good with my hands. But I did well in jail. I did well under implied rules. When I got to treatment, I did well in treatment the very first time. They taught me all these different tools to use. I got connections with a whole lot of different people the first time I went in treatment. But as soon as something happened, I didn't use it. I didn't use none of the tools. I wasn't able to. I was stuck. The opportunity was there too. It was like, Willie, you should call somebody. This is a heavy situation. They telling you can't have the kids. Your sister's sick. You can't get your nieces. I really should have called somebody for some help. If I was Willie today, I probably would have called a lot of different people, but I didn't call nobody. What I did was go to work, try to suck it up, tough it up. It didn't work. I got loaded. And I got loaded quick. And I stayed loaded for a number of years. This last time when I landed back at my treatment facility, because I done skipped over, I can't really speak about all the different things that happened because I could talk for hours about all the different situations of me getting loaded, of all the anger and frustration, of all the times that she did this or they did that or they applied this or they applied that, and how I saw this and how that affected me and how I built this resentment, how I hang on to this and how I felt this type of way and how I would mess up this person's stuff. I could talk about that stuff ever, but that stuff I use with my sponsees on a regular basis. Like when I talk to guys on a one-on-one basis, I'm really great with that stuff. You know, I can really communicate where I've been at, what I've been through, how it works, how it, in the moment, about how the process worked for me. And that's where I find myself very useful working with guys on a one-on-one basis. But when I got back this last time, I had been out 4 or 5 times trying to go back and forth to this program from the moment everything fell apart. My sister passed, they took the kids. My dad had already passed. We sent this thing on a cold run. I hadn't seen the kids none. I remember losing my mind. I end up in jail. I'm in jail for like 6 months. I don't know how I got there. I don't know what I'm doing there. It takes like 6 months for my brain to snap back. And then I go to the door and I'm talking to the deputy. The deputy is like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "My name is Willie Middlebrook." I'm like, What's this on your wristband? I said, it says John Doe. And he's like, excuse me. And he's like, let me get some of his water. So he's like, yeah, let me get a little bit of this water. Break up this story a little bit. And so the deputy's like, what happened to you? I'm like, I don't know what happened to me. Why am I here? So I'm having this conversation with him. The next deputy come, I'm having this conversation with him. And this other deputy, and he's like, he runs me through the computer and he's like, "Oh yeah, you're here for you stole a car, man, and you took it back." I'm like, "Oh, okay, now I remember. Yeah, I took the homie car, stole it, brung it back. he came, was like, oh man, I already called the police, man. Yo, you should have just smoked with me, man. Yo, greedy ass, man, you ain't good for nothing, man. Woo. I remember that whole thing. I'm like, yeah, he ain't coming to jail when I'm gonna get out. You waiting on a lawyer to come. Lawyer come, I talk to the lawyer, I tell the lawyer I got loaded, left my program, man, can I go back? He said, yeah, they sent me back to court. I go back to court now, and they had already declassed me at this point, so I'm in the old county. I'm in the old county with the blue and yellow band. So I'm sitting in there, and I'm in this one cell I've been in like years ago. I look on the wall, I see where I wrote my name. Willie G. Wolf was here, who I wrote that, and all kinds of stuff. I'm looking like, did I write that now? Because I've been in the county so many times, but it seemed like it blended in, and I looked up at the ceiling, and I see this angel that somebody had got way up there. They had to be sitting on their celly shoulder to draw this skeleton angel so high up. It's terrible, but it's really good detail. It's been there. It was clear before the last time I seen it, but I can still kind of see it on the wall. And the reason I'm floating in is I got a hammock, so I've been in jail a lot. I know how to make a hammock. I'm still a heavy guy, but I know how to make a solid hammock in jail. You know what I'm saying? So I got the hammock. I'm in the hammock, and the reason I'm in the hammock is because it's on this floor I'm in. It's been flooded for days. You know, it's feces on the floor. It's flooded, and the police they got rubella. They got like the mumps, and they inoculated everybody. And I'm sitting there thinking like, man, is this all I'm gonna do for myself? Like, they honestly showing me how to live. They giving me instruction manual on how to be a better person, or how to be a person, or how to have a life. And this is all I'm gonna do for me. Because every single time things get heavy, I go to do it on my own, and and it don't work. So I got it. So from that moment, I'm like, you know what? I don't care what they offer me in court, because I know I'm gonna go back to court. I'm on my way to court. If they let me go back to this program, I'm gonna go to the program. I don't care how I feel. I'm gonna stay put. I'm gonna follow the process. And that's exactly what happened. They take me to court a couple of days. The judge is talking about, we're gonna let you go with no tail. I'm like, look, you can't do that to me. If it's the same to you, I wanna go back to the program. He's like, you know what's gonna happen if you go back to the program? We're gonna let you go today, Mr. Middlebrook. I'm like, no, you gotta take me back to the program. If you let me go back to the program, I'm gonna be all right. We're gonna have to put you on probation. You're gonna have to go back to the county. They just came off lockdown. We don't know when they're gonna go back on lockdown. I'm like, I'm fine with that, because if you send me back on the street, man, I'm gonna die. He's like, sure. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna die, because every time I go out there by myself without no solution or any type of implied rules, I get loaded. I'm gonna die. So he's like, okay, well, you can go back to the county. We'll get you set up with the program. Before that, a little bit before that, when I first got to arraignment, I'm sitting there not knowing what's gonna happen. My attorney said, there's a letter here from Safe Refuge. It's from a lady named Lori Aviles, and it says that you can come back to the program. I'm like, I get to praying. I'm like, I'll get to praying. Maybe they'll let me get this program. So all that stuff happened, I said before it happened. So I go back, I end up going back to the program. I get to the program, and I stay put. COVID hit. COVID hit hard. And my brother ended up passing from COVID. And a couple other things, you know, he was doing a lot of drugs. But he passed from COVID. And the whole process, to speed this up a little bit quicker, is that I got a sponsor. My sponsor started taking me through the work. He was showing up all the time. Whenever he had some free time, he'd pop up, which was all the time. And we sit there, we do the work. We sit in this little Honda, we go through the book. He break it down to me. He showed me what it meant to know the obsession, the malady, and the allergy. I had to know these things. This was the first step, was the only step I had to do perfectly. I was thankful that the biggest thing for me is that I didn't really relate to being an alcoholic, but you know, they only mentioned alcohol one time in the steps. You know that, right? Just one time, the first part, alcohol. Because the results of my drinking, I made drunk decisions, and my life became unmanageable. I couldn't handle it. The rest of this is about my unmanageable life. He taught me that. And because he taught me that, I was able to work this process. I only did the first step perfectly. The rest of these steps are great ideas that I try to ascribe to every day. I came to believe, every day I'm coming to believe in a power greater than myself. Every day I'm amazed that I'm still here. Every day I'm amazed that I can still hold conversations with people and get close to folks. Every day I'm amazed that I have a job, that I can communicate, that I can go outside and I have to look over my shoulder. I'm amazed that I don't have to pick up a drink to feel normal, to feel comfortable. The obsession has been lifted. I thank God for that. I made a decision to turn over my ideas and my attitudes. They say will in life, right? My will in my life, my ideas and my attitudes. How I feel about things and how I think about things. What I'm gonna do. They told me what to do. They gave me some instructions. Anything that don't come out my brain, I'm doing. They say, Willie, we need you to take these people in the COVID van. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, put on this suit and this mask. I'm like, okay, for sure. We putting people in the van. The means like, yeah, we gonna take you. They gonna. People were scared. They didn't want to get in the van. I'm telling you, this is the middle of COVID. Nobody wanted to get in the van. The van covered in plastic. We looking like we about to go kill you. I got the whole suit on and everything. I'm like, get in the van. The van covered in full plastic. Get in the van. You know what I'm saying? And then that was the extent of my COVID run. And then they end up giving me a job. I ended up getting a job and I become a peer mentor. I did that for a year. I got into a relationship. I got to work in intake. I worked in intake for 5 years. From working in intake, I got to work with people regularly. They told me, I just happened to be so situated that I could work with alcoholics every single day, new people every single day. And I didn't have a conversation. I didn't have anything to talk about. The things that went on in my brain didn't make any sense. But I went to meetings and I sucked up information. I started applying this process to my life on an everyday basis. I started to listen to what other people have to say. I started to give them the information that I was given. I started to meditate in the morning and pray in the morning while I'm working in intake. I started asking God to lead me and direct my life and let me be useful and be of maximum service as best as I possibly can because I want this to work. You know, I got to my fourth step, man, and I did it the first time, and then multiple times of me working the steps with my sponsor, I did it 4 or 5, 6 times. I admitted to God, myself, and another human being the exact nature of my wrongs. Thank you, Siri. The exact natures of my wrongs, right? I was entirely ready to have God remove my defects of character. I asked him. I did all these things, right? I made a list of people. I made a list of all people I have harmed and became willing to make amends with them all. And this was scary to me. This was scary. But I read it. I made a list of all people I have harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. I may never be able to make amends to all these people, but I became willing. I became willing to make amends to them all. Now, if somebody come up and I gotta make amends, I just ask God that I have money in my pocket. You know? So this happened the other day, man. Through my getting loaded and acting crazy through the streets, and there was a guy that I harassed. I had seen a safe, I stole his safe, took his safe, went through all this trouble to get this safe, broke the safe open, there was nothing in the safe. Only thing in the safe was a service animal documentation, right? For a cat service animal documentation. I took it. And I remember we back there drinking and doing our thing, man, and he over there, my cat, I remember that like for the longest. And then this had to be like 2016, 2015, 2014, something like that, when that happened. So this is like a couple weeks ago. I'm at the gas station over here in Long Beach, and I see the dude. I see him. I'm like, man. I say his name. I'm like, he look. He like, do you know me? I'm like, yeah. It's me, Willie. He's like, no, like they used to call me Wolf. He's like, what do you want? I'm like, how you doing, man? What you doing? He's like, I'm getting gas. I got like $17. I'm gonna get some gas and then I'm gonna get out of here. I'm like, nah, to hold that. I tell the guy to hey, put 40 on this tank, man. Put 40 on this tank. He put 40 in his tank, and then I apologized to him. Like, I was an ass, and I apologized. I want to make amends for the things that I did, man. I was really not in a good place in my head, and I should have never stole your safe, and I should have never got rid of your cat paperwork. Matter of fact, I had an opportunity to bring it back to you, and I was wrong, and I should have brought it back to you. I heard you crying about that, and I'm really sorry about that. How that cat doing? The cat's still alive. He ended up getting more paperwork, you know? Who knew cats lived that long, so. But anyway, though, so, you know, he got some gas. He was like, thank you. And he was screaming it across the street, like, no problem, man. I made it real quick. And what happens is over the time of me becoming willing, there's been opportunities where I've been pulled, because I could have kept walking. You know what I'm saying? I could have kept my little $40. But, you know, I became willing to make amends whenever possible, and now I'm pushed and pulled to do it. There was a store that I used to go to, and I used to steal from it. I used to go steal. I didn't mean to steal, but this particular day I needed to steal it because I needed something to drink. So I stole it. I stole a 211, right? I think it was a 211. I stole a 211, and the dude chased me a little bit. He chased me up the alley, and then he slipped and fall. I turned around and I laughed. He's like you, man. He's like, ooh, man, ooh. I'm like, get up out of there. So I go. I'm in my truck and I'm coming up 7th Street and I see this store, something tell me to pull back over, make amends. So I jump out the car, he right behind the thing. I'm like, hey man, look, cause I just made amends at another store and they didn't take the money, right? So I'm at this store, I'm like, hey man, look, Like he said, yeah. He said, "What's up, man?" He said, "What you want, Willie?" I'm like, "Oh, you know my name." He's like, "Yeah, what's up, man?" I'm like, "Look, I want to make amends, man, for what I did." He's like, "How much you got?" Like, "Man, I got this couple of dollars, man." He snatched it up real quick. Like, "Yeah, I know where you at, man. You right up there on 7th Street, man. Keep doing what you're doing. I get out my store." I'm like, "Man, I'm sorry." I said, "Yeah, get your sorry." My store. Man, I'm at the window like, "Man, I'm sorry. I laughed at you, man." Say, "You still think it's funny, man. Get out of here." This is years ago, right? But, you know, so I've been able to do these things, man, right? And there was an opportunity, there was another time, because they give me direct and straight instructions, right? My life is like live like this. To make direct amends to such people whenever possible, except to do so with injured them or others. I was in the store one night with my whole family, and I seen this chick I used to act the ass with. And I wanted to make amends. I wanted to apologize to her, but I seen her dude, and I knew I was gonna squabble him down. It's gonna make a problem. And I remember I parked next to his truck. I'm like, "Man, I seen the truck. Like, man, this truck look weird. I want to park next to the truck. Look weird as hell." Then I walk in the store. I'm like, "Oh no, damn, shoot. I don't know. Let me go move my truck." I see them. They see me. I'm like, "Damn." I'm like, "Damn, there's gonna be some problems." But they way back in the line, so this store is like long. So this late night, so the line in the store is real long. So I'm like, "Should I attempt to make amends?" I said, "No, this is gonna cause some trouble. I got a family, kids, and I don't really feel like fighting." You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna make amends today. You know what I'm saying? Because whatever possible, except when to injure them or others. Because I have my family with them, and I don't want to injure my family, or their image of me in this process. What I'm saying is, I work these steps as they're designed. They give me direct instructions. I try not to put or take anything from them. I try not to add nothing from them. This makes it real easy for me to follow instructions. What happens is, when I get into a place and they got rules and they got instructions, it works for me when I follow them. I get to the program and my health gets better. My communication gets better. What happened for me is I had to make rules work for me. I took these steps, I took this process, I took the rules from my program. If I can't follow those rules, then there's no point in me doing it. If it don't work for me, what's the point of me doing it? Because I worked this process, when I got to my program, I didn't have anything. I didn't have any hopes. I didn't have a relationship with my moms. I didn't have a relationship with neither one of my uncles. I surely didn't have any love interests. I didn't have any finances. I had nothing going for me. I decided to work this process, and through time and patience and struggle and doing this process and working with my sponsor, I decided I got a life, a whole life. Man, I got sponsors. I got kids, a job, a business, a car. Man, I got a full load of classes I take. I'm almost finished with school for this specific certification that I'm going for. Then I'm gonna go back and get my bachelor's in fine arts, and I'm gonna finish my retirement career as a curator. I know that for a fact. I'm gonna get those things. There's no problem for me to do it. I love school. I love education. But for some reason, when I was younger, my behavior stopped me from learning. Now that I go to school, I enjoy sitting in class and talking to the teacher. I enjoy being in the lecture. I enjoy communicating. I love being on a level of high thinking, because that information is very important to me. For me to be able to use my brain on a level that makes sense to me is great. It's great. So I enjoy this stuff. I've been able to get these things. I've been able to have a whole ass life, a whole set of responsibilities, because I wanted to be a part of a family, because I came from a family. I wanted to be a father because I had a father. I wanted to be a friend because I think before I acted in anger, those kids was my friends. You know, we were just cracking jokes. And it actually wasn't that bad, because, you know, I threw the punch and I fell over, and somebody threw a punch and he fell on top of me. It's in my head, it's a whole ass fight and squabble when they beat me. Now, what actually happened was, he threw a punch, I fell, he fell on me, we wrestled a little bit, the teacher pulled us apart, they took me to the office. It wasn't as big as it was in my head, because I actually had to go through the work to actually look back at the situation, see the part that I played. But through all the years, man, it seemed like the biggest thing in the world. And because of that, I didn't want to get close to people. I didn't want to be friends, because in my head, that monstrous thing was going to happen. See, there was a conditioning process that took place. I was conditioned with all these different things, and then alcohol brought in the no thought at all, peculiar mental twist, strange mental blank spots. Once I started working this process and I got all these different things, and I got back down with this spiritual experience, and I got back to being that little guy, and I had these how you say it, I realized I'm a undisciplined alcoholic. Like, I don't like anything difficult. I don't like anything challenging. I kind of like balk away from anything that's overly tough, emotionally straining. because I haven't experienced none of these feelings, because I got loaded behind it, because I don't want to hear what you have to say about me. It makes me feel uncomfortable, and then I want to get away because I know if I feel it too much, my past experience was me reacting in anger. The one thing that I'm holding on to, but I had to get rid of that. And of course, loss and death, I don't handle those well, but I had to face a lot of loss and death.